Hello, everyone. This is Mike from Dimensional Walking. And today, the title of my segment is going to be my episode is going to be Alien Dreams, Visions, and a Prophecy. Okay? So, when I was a young child, I guess I remember going to my grandparents' lake cottage in Wisconsin. And I was looking out the back window of the car, and I saw all of these. I could clearly see all of these like lights, and that was kind of my first time. I kind of realized that maybe there was aliens out there, or maybe there were UFOs out there. Okay, and they were swirling around, and I guess I can't came to a conclusion. I was only 7 years old at the time, that these weren't airplanes because they were not acting like airplanes, and because they were moving around so erratically, that something was strange and something was up. So probably about 3 or 4 times I had similar kind of visions or dreams, very similar to that, and but they were very intense on a kind of an emotional level, and these were filled with, you know, UFOs, ET ships, and sometimes I could see them destroying the Earth, and that was pretty disturbing for at this time as a child. But as I grew older, it seemed quite strange I would have these things constantly. These type of dreams, over the years, I seem to see that they were increasing. As I've told you, I've talked to a lot of abductees and contactees, probably over 1,500 in my 50 plus years of doing my research. And you know, the frequency again is really increasing, and the two type of beings, of course, that people would see would be the reptilians and the grays. Okay, and you know, again, they were described as, you know, the grays were described as long, skinny legs and long, skinny arms, big heads, almond shaped eyes. And this is no different in the dreams and the visions I've had. And there was a difference between both of them. The reptilians, of course, were very savage. You know, they would devour everything in the path. Now, these are dreams again. And the grays were more selective. They didn't really damage any. It didn't seem to damage any infrastructure, but they did, you know, fight and battle the military. Okay, those were the things that were very consistent in what I saw and what other people saw that were contactees or abductees or just people just having dreams and visions. Okay. Now the reptilians, as I've spoke before, they're emotional consumers. They consume the emotion of humans. Okay, they love emotions, and we produce a lot of emotion, emotional drama, as I call it. So, anyways, but again, I just want to let everybody know these are just dreams, and they're really not predictions or prophecies. But I do realize one thing: the stress level of people around the world at this time, in the year 2023, is really starting to grow. Okay, and I think it's possible. There is this danger of this emotion, this nightmare type emotion growing, because there's something I believe, I call it the quantum channel. Okay, and what the quantum channel is for me, it may not be for everybody. For me, is the ability of people, like-minded people, thinking like-minded ideas, or having like-minded dreams. Okay, and because that can, I believe, help create such an event. Okay, so back in April 26, 2008, I did a video. Well, it wasn't a video actually. In this case, it was an article, on my website, and my website is Truth Seeker Forum. I still have it, and what I did is I was very much, and I still am today, in something called EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, okay, or other people call it tapping. Okay, this is where you have a series of tapping. You tap on your body and you say some mantras, etc. It's very powerful, and that's what I kind of call this. It can actually move something called the quantum channel. Okay, and I think we are at a point that we absolutely need to start doing something, meditation, etc., as a mass, to start changing some of these possible dreams and things we've been thinking about for many, many years. Now, back probably about 15 years ago, I met and became kind of a friend and had contact with a guy named Al Bielek, which many of you may or may not know. Al Bielek has a lot to do with something called the Philadelphia experiment, which is a very controversial subject. And he also had something to do with Montauk. Okay, Montauk was something that I've written about before, and because I was somewhat involved in it, some really strange things were happening to me that dealt with Montauk. But anyways, Al Bielek, I met him, had a very long interview with him, and a very long conversation with him, I guess. And one of the things he told me was that in 2025, it would be a year of reckoning for us on this planet. And which he didn't come out directly and say this, but he implied by other parts of the conversation we had that this was going to be the next nuclear war on this planet. But I'm seeing it a little differently. I'm starting to feel that it's more like an alien type invasion, which, of course, neither one of them would be a lot of fun. Let's face it. But again, this could all be just a bad vision, a bad dream, maybe even a bad prophecy. And it could be some kind of parallel course that we're all seeing, or maybe even Al Bielek saw, that will not intersect our course or our path as we know it right now. So, one of the other things I wanted to mention to you, if I'm able to get it on the thumbprint of this video, this is a really interesting thumbprint. I've seen this in my mind a bunch of times, and it looks to me, I always thought it looked to me like it was a cluster of alien ships that were about to attack us, or in the attack mode, okay? Now, I got to tell you something. This is a very strange, I guess I don't want to say vision, but I guess in this case I'm going to call it a thumbprint because that's where it's going to go, is on this video. But the interesting thing about it, the first time I actually saw this thing was one night many years ago. I went to bed, turned off my computer. I always turned my computer off, and I turned my printer and a lot of the things in my house, like turning the lights off. I turned everything off. And in the middle of the night, supposedly, the printer came on by itself. And out came this print of these cluster, I call a cluster of alien ships, or a cluster of attacking alien ships. I don't really know. But it was the strangest thing. And from that point on, I would see that in dreams that I was having, or visions I was having, or whatever it was. And I always thought it was really odd. And over the years, I asked people if they'd ever seen anything like this before, and everybody said they'd never seen anything like this before. So it's really strange. I actually, probably a week ago or so, I had it again in a vision, and that's what keyed me into making a video on it and sharing it with you. Hopefully it means something to you. If I'm able to get it on as a thumbprint, I may or may not be able to. If you have seen anything like that, please either send us an email at dimensionalwalking@gmail.com or comment here, and I'll get back to you. Okay? Well, anyways, that's about it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.